Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, and as you can see, broadcasting from remote, although Studio B seems to be more readily usable than Studio A, which is out at the Capital Region International Airport. We're going to spend a little time right now with Hilary Doe. She is the Chief Growth Officer for the state of Michigan, and if I'm not mistaken, Hilary, the first growth officer in the United States of America.
That's right. One of those bold actions we're taking on to address this problem head on.
Well, welcome onto the show, first of all. And we're used to bold actions, bold actions from the governor. Been a friend a long time, and I know how she operates. Let's talk about your position. What exactly is a growth officer?
Well, as you said, first in the nation. So we're still working on determining all the details. But the truth is this endeavor was really driven by a challenge that states across the country are having and that Michigan is stepping up to solve. And that is one of population stagnation and decline. And obviously, population growth really matters to our communities. It matters to our rural communities to ensure that we're able to, keep investing in the quality of life that they want, their services, their school systems. It matters to taking advantage of our economic opportunities. And right now, Michigan has a right to be at the vanguard of some of the growing industries in this new era of the economy. We want to make sure we have a workforce that's ready and prepared for those things. So we're really working across this effort to ensure that young folks, young families, recent grads, communities across the state have a growth plan for their future that they're excited about. And that will ensure we have, flourishing opportunities for Michiganders that are already here and all the ones that we hope to attract home.
Well, I will tell you, being a longtime member of the Capital Area Michigan Works and now on the Michigan Works Association statewide board, we've got some work to do in training this workforce and really backfilling the workforce because we need some bodies. So what kinds of things have you seen in Michigan and across the country?
Yeah, in terms of what works?
Population trends.
Yep. Oh, trends. Yeah. So we're seeing in Michigan, again, something that, I think it's currently 34% of states are seeing, which are, slower declines. One of the challenges we're all up against is a slowing natural growth rate. So, folks are having smaller families and things like that. And in the face of that, we really need to win this net migration battle here in Michigan. So we need to really retain our young folks and our young families. And we also need to attract folks from across the country to know what Michiganders already know. Recent studies have come out saying that Michigan is a top state to live and work in. We want to make sure the rest of the country is just as aware of that as we are. And we also want to do a lot of listening to ensure that, we're taking our cues from the folks across the state that we hope to retain and attract. So I know we'll talk about this, but we've just launched a public engagement effort I'm really proud of that's very ambitious between now and November, where we're going across the state to listen to folks that are very regionally diverse and also to those communities that in particular we know we need to retain and attract to win that net migration battle. Asking them what they're seeing, what challenges they're facing, and also what they're looking for when they're thinking about the place that they want to call home.
It's interesting. I'm the immediate past president of AARP. And while I was there, I started a program called Experience for Hire, which was to bring retirees back into the workforce on a part-time basis, et cetera. It seems there's a lot of areas we've got to start really concentrating on to get those people who are not working back in the workforce.
Yeah, I think one great example we've seen is during the pandemic, we saw a real decline in labor force participation rate, especially from women, but from folks that had childcare responsibilities. And in Michigan, we also see labor force declines as a result of elder care responsibilities. So that's one thing we're really listening to, and the Growing Michigan Together Council is hearing briefings on and digging into, what can we do from a public policy perspective to provide the support that those workers need to be active participants in the labor force just like they want to be and have economic opportunities like they want to be, and ensure that they have great care for their children and the elder folks in their life, for example. We've already seen, the Whitmer administration push TRI-Share, which is an important first step in solving the childcare problem, for example. But that's something that the Growing Michigan Together Council is looking at really closely to do exactly what you're describing, try to, increase labor force participation rate and make sure we have the workforce we need.
So let's talk a little bit about Growing Michigan Together Council and what they do and how they fit into this formula.
Yeah. Yeah. So the sort of chief growth officer beat is a bit broader, right? We were very generously sort of given the opportunity to think about this problem holistically. So if it takes policy work, great. If it takes, initiatives for talent attraction and retention, great. And if we need to do work on branding and marketing, we're going to take that on. So we have a pretty broad beat. But at the same time that was announced, the Growing Michigan Together Council was announced, which I'm really proud to also be the executive director of. And we're working really hard with a bipartisan group across the state, including 4 work groups full of diverse folks and a full council between now and December to produce recommendations on infrastructure in place, jobs, talent, people, higher ed, and pre-K to 12 education that we think will, drive our ability to grow Michigan's population and our economy from a policy lens. So they'll be producing policy recommendations and, initiative recommendations based on what works in Michigan and also state benchmarking, what we're seeing work in states across the country. And we hope we'll have a really bold set of recommendations to send to the governor by December that will help kickstart this population growth effort.
Well, I'm sure you're going to lead the way. We got to get people back in the workforce. Hilary Doe, the Chief Growth Officer, first in the universe, to my knowledge, for the state of Michigan. Hilary, thanks for joining us, and Godspeed. Get out there because we need you to produce, and we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Hilary Doe. You've been watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman. We'll be back with more.